The reason why I brought up the Halloween thing though is because like earlier today, I fell into a little bit of a rabbit hole looking up cryptid shit. You know what that is? Like cryptozoology, like Bigfoot or the Jersey Devil, the Mothman, that sort of stuff.
The Mothman.
Yeah.
Chupacabra.
Chupacabra, yeah. I guess it depends on which region of the country you're in where you get your different types. Like Jersey Devil obviously is New England area.
I was obsessed with the Mothman for a while when that movie came out.
The Mothman Prophecies. Mm-hmm. You know, I've never seen that movie.
It's pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah, I would watch it again.
What is okay? So I'm not super familiar with the Mothman. What exactly is it? Is it literally just what it sounds like, a Mothman?
Yeah, I don't remember the whole backstory, but it has something to do with like it's like a legend that they have up there in like West Virginia area.
Okay, West Virginia. Why did I think it was Missouri?
I don't know. It's West Virginia.
Okay.
And then the story there's like a bridge collapse in the movie, but that's like a real life thing. Like it was based on real life events. So that's all I really remember.
Okay. I mean, West Virginia sounds kind of scary in and of itself.
Yeah.
Without Mothman running around.
Yeah, we should watch the movie sometime.
O'Fallon, Missouri. It's a suburb of St. Louis. Okay. Mothman is West Virginia. Okay. I you know what? Like that's a blind spot in my cryptozoology. Like I'm used to like the more southwestern and midwestern type stuff. Although I guess maybe is West Virginia technically the Midwest, or is that what is West Virginia? Is that the South? It's not the South.
I think up there and they consider it like to be in the South. But down here, we would consider it, we don't consider it the South.
Okay, fair enough.
It's hard to, because I know people up there, like, they call Virginia the South, but, like, we wouldn't.
Virginia's the South.
Virginia's, like, the very beginning of the South.
It is the very beginning of the South.
I guess. So maybe West Virginia is, like, the beginning of the South.
Okay, interesting. Maybe I'll go take a vacation in West Virginia. I wonder if they're
beautiful.
It's the Apple. That's the thing, like. I love mountains and shit, but for whatever reason, the Appalachian just terrifies me. There's just something about it that seems scary.
It seems like serial killers hide bodies there a lot.
Yeah,
right?
and like just weird shit, like families that people haven't seen or heard of in generations just living weird lives up there. Creepy shit. I know that's probably unfair, but that's just the vibe that I get from the Appalachian. No cryptids in Missouri. Well, Maryland is technically the South. Maryland is the South. Now that's a state that I don't.
In between, I think.
But I think
got kind of like a Southern vibe, but also like the East Coast vibe.
Yeah, it definitely has. It has a New England vibe for certain. But I think it is technically the South. You talk to me about Baltimore all the time. Mm-hmm. Like you have a fascination with that city right now.
Yeah. I don't know why. I just like really like the Baltimore area. There's just certain places that I get fixated on.
And Baltimore for now. All right. Well, like it seems like a cool city. I don't know. I've never been there.
I've heard that like besides like the crime, like in the specific parts where there's a lot of crime, it's like a place.
Yeah.
And like the suburbs and stuff, there's a lot of nice suburbs outside of Baltimore.
Okay. I mean, I don't know what when I think of Maryland, I kind of think of like New England. I don't know if it has a New England vibe or not, or if it has a Southern vibe or not. It's a weird. I don't even actually spend a whole lot of time thinking about it as a state.
Yeah, I know.
Maryland.
It's just so random.
It is random. Like there are states like that where I'm like, oh yeah, like Vermont exists as a state.
Yeah.
But that's just because I'm an arrogant Texan.
I was reading an article that was saying that Maryland is the number one state for gender equality in the United States.
Maryland is.
Mm-hmm. Like they have the most, like the highest percentage of women in like manager positions, and like the wage gap is like the lowest.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, you would never think about it like a state like Maryland.
Yeah.
I wonder what the weather is like there. It's fairly far north for a southern state.
I think they get all 4 seasons.
Yeah.
It's also kind of attracting me to places like that too, because I'm getting tired of like just being
all
hot
summer,
all
summer, all the time.
Yeah.
Baltimore has a plethora of HBCUs. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, historically black colleges and universities. It's not shocking. It's not shocking to hear that Baltimore would have that, but that is cool to hear about. Oh, the sweet potato chips, are they good?
They're good.
What is the carb count on that?
The carb count.
That's shit I have to look at now for whatever.
17 grams.
Oh shit! What the fuck? Okay, wait. What's the fiber to sugar breakdown? Don't laugh at me.
The fiber to sugar breakdown. I don't even see where it says fiber. Sugar is 5 grams.
Okay. Like, I have fun doing gaming and stuff. It's fun to play games online and interact with people that are, into whatever I'm playing.
What the fuck was that?
Oh shit. That dude Vince has resubscribed. Yo, Vince, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that.
Yay. Maybe subscribe, yay.
Why did you make that sound so sarcastic? Like, oh yay, Vince subscribed. Poxborn, hey, what's up, Poxborn? It's been a while. Welcome back to the stream. Oh yeah, that's right. Today's Thursday, so it's your Friday, right? How you been lately? But how are you with like scary stuff, creepy stuff?
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a creep? You a bit of a creep?
Yeah.
Okay.
People think I'm weird because I'm so into it, I'm so into
it's
horror and true crime and all that.
It's interesting. Like, the true crime thing is a little bit different for me. Like, for whatever reason, I haven't been able to like really get into the true crime stuff, but I do like this weird shit. Like supporting you, Devin. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate any and all support I can get. I'm over here trying my hardest.
There is a place buried inside American folklore, which is supposedly home to every scary thing you could possibly imagine. UFOs, poltergeists, werewolves. When you follow the current UFO story and the cast of characters within, follow it all the way back to the beginning, you will end up at Skinwalker Ranch.
So this is like the basement office.
Whoa.
Oh shit, this is dramatized.
Nick, welcome back to the basement.
That guy has a weird forehead.
Thanks, it's great to be back here.
So in this episode, we're going to talk about Skinwalker
Yeah, he does.
Ranch.
It's really
but
large.
Before we do, I want to acknowledge where I am as an investigator, a journalist, someone who's been looking at UFOs.
Got to give you a like over here. Thank you for that too.
I am a little bit more skeptical. And I was in a pub, and a group of friends were like, "Hey, have you ever heard of the Skinwalkers?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" No. And they said, in this particular version of the urban legend, they said, well, the Skinwalkers down in southern Utah, you'll be driving at night, and suddenly these white-skinned, bright white-skinned, like half-man, half-wolf creatures will run up next to your, on two legs, run up next to your vehicle, no matter how fast you're going. They will keep pace and run next to your vehicle. And I was saying, what are people talking about, this Skinwalker thing? So what is a Skinwalker itself? What is a Skinwalker?
Well, a Skinwalker...
I was, and from what I know about that mythos, I was under the impression that you're not supposed to say their name. Like, I think it's bad luck to say one's name. Are you
Say the name Skinwalker?
Yes. As you literally just say it. Right after I say you're not supposed to.
Ew.
Are you familiar with that?
I've heard of that before, but I mean, I don't know anything about this. So.
Okay. I may be mistaken, but I'm pretty positive. I mean, that guy just said it like 20 times in a row. But I thought that was part of the mythos.
There is
Oh my
is
God.
part of Native American mythology and belief, and it comes from mainly the Navajo culture, but the Ute tribe, which is indigenous to the particular area, have those same beliefs. And the Skinwalker is essentially a malevolent witch, an individual who has various supernatural powers, and those powers include the ability to transform, to shapeshift. And then this is common in various beliefs, I mean, around the world, but these skinwalkers can apparently cast spells, and do
like real
various
photos, too.
magic, and are
Yeah, I don't know where those photos came from. Like, I don't think. I mean, maybe they do, but I don't know if they have any kind of relation to what they're actually talking about, or if they're just like old photos of indigenous tribes people in various garbs, and they're like, yeah, that's what they are. They're walkers. You know, I don't know if that's what's going on there, but I mean, it looked cool.
Ranch itself was owned by the Myers family for decades. Various members of the Myers family lived on the ranch for many, many years, at least 60 years. And then they sell the ranch to the Sherman family, Gwen and Terry Sherman.
Why do those pictures? Wait a second. 1995. Why do these pictures look like they're from the 60s? Gee, that makes me feel old. That makes me feel old that they're positing pictures from 1995 like this. I know I am old, but
That's
God,
gotta be older than 95. Those pictures.
they have to be like at least 20 years older than 95.
Yeah.
Myers family for
They're just
decades and
using whatever they
generations
can.
owned this location, owned this ranch, and never once see a UFO, report a UFO, see anything weird, see anything paranormal, nothing. They sell it to Terry and Gwen Sherman, and bam.
That's suspicious.
Terry's talking about UFOs, strange things on the property, and a local newspaper, the Deseret News, writes an article about the ranch and this guy's alleged sightings. And a millionaire in another state, in Nevada, reads this story and says, I need that ranch. To figure out what's going on. I want to see these UFOs. And
That dude
millionaire
looks
was Robert
creepy.
Bigelow.
Oh, oh my goodness! Look at that dude.
And
That was quite a
millionaire
picture,
Robert
though.
Bigelow.
Yeah.
I want to. God damn it! Something's going on. It doesn't want me to pause on his picture.
With Robert Bigelow.
There we go. Look at that. That is a saucy old man. That is a saucy gentleman.
Yeah, he is saucy.
He is saucy. He looks like he enjoys a good roast beef sandwich. He loves Hidden Valley. Yeah.
Oh my god.
He looks like he loves Hidden Valley as well. Like I could smell his brute cologne too. Like, I like this guy. I like this guy already. He's an entrepreneur for certain.
Who is Robert Bigelow?
Robert Bigelow is somebody who has been at the center of UFO studies for many years. He made his money in real estate, but
Naturally.
two of his other passions in life are the quest to discover what happens after death and UFOs. And with UFOs, maybe the paranormal more generally. And he has a history with this. He has set up, over the years, multiple organizations into which he has put, initially, his own money to study UFOs and the paranormal.
And, you know, Robert Bigelow went on, you know, the Joe Rogan show and talked about his life and how he's always been into UFOs. You know, ever since he was a child, it's been this fascination of his. And he's almost like the Howard Hughes of UFOs. You know, like he's this guy who made a lot of money doing.
Okay, so this dude owns Budget Suites of America hotels.
For his real
wow.
passion. And yes, so Robert Bigelow goes to the ranch, Terry and Gwen Sherman's ranch, and buys it. He creates the National Institute of Discovery Sciences, otherwise known as NIDS, and for the sole purpose of doing scientific things like what was happening at the ranch here. What is NIDS and how big a role did it play in ufology at this time?
Well, NIDS is, I think, very important. It
NIDS.
was, as you say, funded by Robert Bigelow's money, so it could do things that maybe civilian UFO groups before hadn't been able to do. I mean, here was a guy writing the checks, and so if you want to bring in scientific equipment to capture high-resolution images, you could do that. Here was somebody who was prepared to underwrite this, but the other critical thing is that he was able to gather around him a group of individuals who, I think, some of them were.
I feel like I would be remiss in my duties of not pointing out right now that this is yet another example of a billionaire squandering his wealth on Don Quixote-like expeditions when he could have easily just as easily have been taxed on that wealth and then that money used to, I don't know, better our society. This is just yet another one of those examples of people trying to find things to do with their obscene amounts of money. But he could be doing worse things with it than trying to find UFOs and paranormal activity. Like, at least that much I could be in favor of. I'm trying to find out a little more information on him. He seems like he would be a character.
Already predisposed to believe in things like this, but people with a backstory, people with connections, people in the government, the military, the intelligence community. So this was an attempt to take studies of UFOs and the paranormal to the next level.
Included on Bigelow's NIDS team were people like Hal Puthoff, who had spent decades researching
His name is
psychic
Puthoff?
powers, both for the government in operations like the CIA's Project Stargate and for the Church of Scientology, where he achieved the church's highest spiritual level. Puthoff had also worked with Uri Geller, who claims he can bend spoons with his mind. Puthoff was
But that
convinced
wasn't...
Geller's psychic powers were real.
Oh, Lord Almighty.
Also on the NIDS team was John Alexander, a former Army intelligence officer who sought out how to harness the power of the paranormal for military applications.
Oh my God. Oh, Jesus. This is playing out like a fucking supervillain movie. You have a high-ranking Scientologist, a charlatan who's claiming he could bend spoons with his mind, and a military general that wants to use fucking dead people as weapons of war. Like, this...
Featured in the critically acclaimed nonfiction book, The Men Who Stare at Goats.
You
a
know,
true story
I meant to
about
watch
how
that
the
movie.
military performed a series of tests in which they attempted to kill goats simply by staring at them.
What the...
I meant to watch that movie.
Valet, a world-renowned UFO researcher who believes UFOs are not extraterrestrial, but multidimensional, originating from unseen dimensions of space-time. Valet was Steven Spielberg's main inspiration for the French scientist in his film Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh, wow.
Have you seen that movie?
1 year after Bigelow purchases
If I have,
the
it's
ranch,
been so long, I
the
don't really
Deseret
remember.
News, the same local paper, does a follow-up story where they talk to people who were working at the ranch for Bigelow. And the headline is, "No UFOs so far, 1 year in." And yeah, we haven't seen anything yet. Like, the people who were there, they'd been there a year and were speaking to the press about how they hadn't seen anything, hadn't experienced anything. No UFOs.
I mean, Necromancer just ends up with more army when something dies. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. I mean, if you can... As a military, if you could find a way to make dead people fight for you, then you have an infinite supply of soldiers.
UFOs, like nothing. And this was a year already into it. Nothing had happened yet. They hadn't seen anything.
You're crushing those crackers.
60 years of no UFOs.
You could take the rest with you. I don't eat them anymore.
They're like
Okay.
a month, and they're suddenly, they see UFOs. Bigelow buys the ranch of them because he's into UFOs. And then 1 year, no UFOs.
In his published diaries, Jacques Vallée notes a complete lack of UFOs on the ranch. On January 12, 1997, 3 NID staffers told Vallée, expectations of frequent sightings of UFOs at the Utah ranch have not materialized. So what are we supposed to work on? On May 3, 1997, Vallée wrote, it must be noted that no UFO is being seen at the ranch, in contrast with earlier claims.
I think they're starting to realize that they were swindled.
1998, he states, the Utah ranch is quiet, with no new incidents. There hasn't been a single new case of a physical UFO there. And in 1999, Robert Bigelow is quoted in the press saying he still has not personally seen any UFOs, joking that anytime he comes to the ranch, the UFOs stay away.
Oh my god.
Everything, no more talking to the press. Years go by. Apparently, they're still at the ranch investigating. And then in 2005, this book comes out where it's like 280 pages worth of just the craziest stuff ever.
Written by NID scientist Colm Kelleher and paranormal journalist George Knapp, Hunt for the Skinwalker claims to be the chilling true story of unexplained phenomena on Utah's Skinwalker Ranch.
The book itself is a tell-all book of what they found, what they experienced at the ranch. And it is werewolves. It is
werewolves,
poltergeist activity, UFOs, cattle mutilations. It reads like a science fiction horror film. And there is no appendix, no photos, no documents, just stories.
Lots of stories.
Monsters.
Stories.
I like a chapter just called Monsters.
Literal flying saucers landing in the backyard. Flying saucers and Bigfoot at the same time. Poltergeist hauntings. Ghostly voices of the dead. Hairy humanoids. People shooting guns at UFOs and the bullets ricocheting off the metal body of the spaceship. Quote, aliens, end quote. Interdimensional portals opening up and creatures crawling out of them. Ape-like creatures, reptilian creatures, beast creature. And a bulletproof wolf creature that couldn't be killed, no matter how many times they shot it.
Okay, we know what it...
But no evidence
Was that
of
necessary?
any kind to back up any of these stories has ever been presented. George Knapp, who's built an entire career around stories of UFOs and the paranormal, and who was one of the authors of the Hunt for the Skinwalker book, was asked about evidence on the Joe Rogan show.
Because they weren't there with cameras.
Is there any evidence?
Like for the first 20 months when the rancher is there, they don't have any evidence because he's not a paranormal investigator.
At this point, Knapp begins telling more stories about UFOs on and near the ranch. Rogan then interrupts and asks again.
Again, is there any evidence?
No, not really.
Oh.
Well, there you go.
If you're looking for physical evidence and solid proof, and they don't have it.
Oh. Knapp saying that no evidence is quite strange, considering the book Knapp co-authored says this. We obtained an intriguing body of physical evidence to support many of the accounts described in the book. Okay, so where is that?
I mean, at this point, you have to recognize that this is just garden variety charlatanism.
And a lot of people would say the answer to that question is
Oh.
yes.
Robert Bigelow doesn't even own this ranch
randomness
anymore.
about it, but also,
He sold
this
it.
is
He's
something
like, fuck it.
Yeah, he must be like, fuck this.
to ideas
I wonder if they'll get to that here
folklore
in a
and
bit.
other things. The trickster aspect of the phenomenon more generally. I mean, almost every culture has the concept of a trickster god. And some people say,
hello, it's me, and this is that show that tries to say alien stuff. And is this that show that tries to say alien stuff? Aliens built the pyramids because racists can't accept the fact that Egyptians just know math. What's up, Maniacal Toaster? Welcome back to the stream. Hope you're having a pleasant evening. No, this isn't that show. This is something different. This is some show that's like, it tries to like investigate accounts of cryptids and cryptozoology. But I know the show you're talking about. That show is deeply amusing.
Is that Ancient Aliens?
I think it's Ancient Aliens. Yeah, they had one segment on that show once a while ago where it was like Alexander the Great used weapons from aliens to conquer Persia and all that sort of stuff. And I remember watching that. I was at my parents' house, and my dad, like, at the time, he liked watching the History Channel because, you know, they did occasionally show historical accounts.
Yeah.
But that show was on, and I was just like, God, dude, what the fuck? Like, there are people that watch this and are like, yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, I can. But how else could he have conquered Persia if he didn't have alien technology? And I was like, oh boy, this is tough sledding. But you know, there are people that just can't accept the fact that Egyptians knew math too.
that the paranormal
They knew math better than
itself
we did.
displays a lot of that.
That's not saying much right now. There are a multitude of countries that exist right now that knows math better than we do.
So we're dealing with Loki.
On my way down to coordinate search and rescue. On my way down to coordinate search and rescue. I mean, honestly, how do you keep your food shut?
All right,
Again,
skip
no
because I don't want to
evidence
get
at all
capped by
has been provided
Marvel.
of any such trickster or skinwalker or even Loki. Since this part of the Skinwalker story occurred now many decades ago, a lot of the early key witnesses have since passed away.
Yeah,
But
they
we
got
are
their
lucky
bag.
that a
They got their
record
bag and
of
lived
was
on.
documented by an objective source completely outside the Bigelow Circle and uninvolved with Skinwalker Ranch. Frank Salisbury, a botanist with a PhD in plant physiology and geochemistry, wrote and published several books on plants and flowers. But stuck in the middle of his resume is a 1974 book he wrote titled The Utah UFO Display, a biologist's report. In 2010, he released a second edition of the book, this time including the Skinwalker story and new candid interviews with Myers and Sherman family members regarding whether the Myers family ever experienced UFOs or anything paranormal on the ranch during the 60 years they owned it. Garth Myers told Salisbury, "There were never any signs of that. There was nothing, unequivocally,
I am shocked.
absolutely nothing. There were no UFOs." Salisbury also interviewed Terry Sherman, who again purchased the ranch from the Myers, claimed to have seen UFOs, and then sold the ranch to Robert Bigelow for $200,000. Sherman was then hired by Bigelow to help with the Skinwalker Ranch investigation, and Sherman's experiences are a major portion of the Hunt for the Skinwalker book. Salisbury assumed, logically, that since Sherman's detailed accounts of paranormal activity are all over the book, that he had been extensively interviewed for the book. But as it turns out, Sherman didn't even know a book was being written about his family's experiences until the book was published. And he had never met George Knapp, although they had talked on the phone, but not about the book. Sherman basically supports Garth Myers' version of the history of the ranch. So where did the exaggerated version, the ranch as the center of UFO activity, come from? Well, that's a great question for the book's authors, Colm Kelleher and George Knapp, both of whom would not return multiple requests from me for comment. The 2005 release of Hunt for the Skinwalker catapulted the ranch's popularity on a national scale. Despite the ranch being closed to the public and guards prohibiting unauthorized entry, UFO believers would drive many hours just to sit outside the ranch's closed gates, hoping to see something. Many truly believed Robert Bigelow and his team of investigators at the National Institute of Discovery Sciences had discovered something that would change the course of human history forever.
Now, what happens with NIDS? What's the ultimate fate of the National Institute Discovery Sciences?
Someone tried to say stairs in a pyramid were melted by radioactive fallout from nuclear weapons, saying, quote, "This isn't a result of time and erosion," and it's like, yes, it was. If they were walked on for over 2,000 years. Wait, they were trying to say the erosion of the pyramids was caused by radioactive fallout? That's wild. Who are you talking to that believes this stuff? That's my first question, first and foremost, Maniacal Toaster. Like, are you hanging out at weird bars or something?
I have weird coworkers.
They were trying to say Egyptians were utilizing nuclear weapons. I have weird coworkers. Yes, you do have weird coworkers. I will say that. And what can you do when you're at work and you're cornered by a weird coworker? You make up an excuse to get the fuck out of there, is what I would say. I've done that before. I don't know what your experience is, but
I've had to do that a lot. Go to the bathroom.
Yeah, hide out in the bathroom. That's a way.
Discoveries. What's their ultimate fate?
I remember there was a guy, and I don't want to make too light of his situation. He was coworker who was I don't quite know. I think bipolar schizophrenic, but he was on medication when he was hired. But at some point, he stopped taking his medication. And the longer he went without medication, the more he kind of like devolved into like mania. And I remember he started saying, like, he started getting increasingly paranoid about. He claimed he had an idea for something he called a universal translator that would allow everyone to speak with everyone in a single language or whatever. I don't know, it was kind of weird. But he thought that, like, it was such a revolutionary idea that the CIA was going to kill him. And he thought the CIA was after him. He wanted to try to contact Noam Chomsky because he thought Noam Chomsky could help him. And I remember him telling me this shit, and I was like, oh my god, dude, you are falling off right now in a pretty epic way. And I remember one day we went to lunch, and he was talking about it. We were in his car. He was talking about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I wrote it down here." He handed me his journal, and I opened his journal, and it looked like the scrawlings of a serial killer. Oh my God. It was margin to margin, walls of text, various things bolded and underlined, weird drawings. I was like, "Oh my god, I got to get out of this car." And like the next time. Like he was also like he's vegetarian or vegan or something like that. The next time he was like, "Hey, you want to you go anywhere for lunch?" Like I literally was like, "I'm gonna get something to eat at Rowdy Jake's Meat Emporium." Like I just made that up. I was like, "I'm going to Rowdy Jake's Meat Emporium. Just gonna eat a shit ton of meat." And he was like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "All right, well, cool. I don't have to actually pretend like that's a real place." And I got out of going to lunch with him in that day.
Oh shit!
But yeah, it was a pretty frightening ordeal to like see somebody, go off their meds and spiral into like extreme paranoia. But that's the thing that bugs me about stuff like it's. And for a while, I used to want to be a paranormal investigator because not that I believe, like I'm not clairvoyant in any sense of the imagination. Like I've never had a ghost experience. Have you? You ever felt like you? Not
really. I mean, I've gotten kind of weird vibes, but not an actual ghost experience.
Never seen one or anything like that?
No, I don't think so.
Do you believe in ghosts?
I don't know. That's really hard. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Okay, so okay.
I believe that I believe in entities and stuff, but I don't know if it's like exactly the way that portrayed to be.
Yeah. You don't think it's like Slimer?
What's that?
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, no.
Okay, fair enough.
I haven't seen Ghostbusters since I was a kid.
So. Yeah, we've got to change that. But I also am unaware. I don't know. I feel like maybe ghosts exist. I don't know. I would like to. I think there's that fantastical part of my brain where it's like, I really want this stuff to exist because then the world would be a much more interesting place than it actually is. Yeah. There's that element to it. And I wanted to be a paranormal investigator because of that. knowing that, the world probably isn't that interesting. But I think, and I think there's an entertainment value in stuff like this. Like, it's cool if you know how to engage with that kind of material. You don't take it deadly serious or anything like that. But I think that there is a problem where some of this stuff is presented in a factual manner, particularly that Ancient Aliens show, where it can take advantage of people that are a little bit more susceptible to paranoia and some of the more far out conspiracy theories. I think it's kind of skirting a line, and I think that a lot of people, like the dudes that wrote that book, who very clearly lied about all of their accounts and have no evidence for the things that they were supporting in that book, despite saying in the book that they have evidence, those guys are grifters. They're just taking advantage of people that would, they're taking advantage of your weird coworkers, Maniacal Toaster. But it would have been cool to be a paranormal investigator.
Yeah.
I thought. I'm a coward, though. I would get very scared in, like, an abandoned, prison.
Fuck no.
Like an abandoned, like there's an abandoned prison near Dallas or something that people were telling me was haunted, and I wanted to go and just be like, let's see what this place gets up to at night. And I would never be able to survive that. Like, I would have a anxiety-riddled heart attack before anything ever happened. A ghost would show and be like, look, this dude's already panicking. I didn't even do anything. Ghost would call the ambulance for me, be like, look, guy, it's gonna be okay. Someone's coming. They're gonna hook you up. You're gonna be okay. But it could be cool though. Like, I would have to look up and see what that prison is, but that could be cool to investigate something like that.
I like to play.
You want to read the comment?
I was trying to. I like to play Phasmophobia and run around the house going, where are the clues? Where the fuck are the ghost clues? I'm going to fuck their ghost dad.
What?
Nice.
Fuck their ghost dad? When you say ghost dad, it reminds me of that Bill Cosby movie, and that's not cool anymore.
What? The ghost dad? Wait, what? What Bill Cosby movie? Which one?
There was a Bill Cosby movie called Ghost Dad.
Okay, yeah, maybe I'm too young.
You might be too young for Ghost Dad. Oh no! Hey everybody, thanks for watching the video. If you liked what you just saw, hit the like. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. I'd appreciate it if you did both. They would be very good for the channel and help me build the community here. If you have any kind of comments or opinions or anything like that, by all means drop them in the comments section below. I like engaging with y'all, want to do more of that, so thank you again and see you next time.